Hey guys, welcome back to another video. We're going to be talking about Zorin OS 17 beta today. This is one of the most aesthetically pleasing distributions that I have ever experienced personally. And another thing to note is that this is my third time recording this video because I have no idea why my screen recording goes black. So hopefully if you're watching this video, it made it to YouTube, or I don't even know. So without further delay, let's jump right in. Okay, so first booting into Zorin OS, I do apologize for the top bar, and in Pop! OS, this is running inside a virtual machine. I do apologize for my setup, but if I don't do it like this, it's gonna be a black screen for the entire video. Like I said, it's my third time recording this. I really don't want to waste more time. So let's dive right in, okay? So the first thing that you would get on booting up Zorin OS is the tour. Now it looks really beautiful. Let's start the tour and see what kind of things we have. So open the menu to launch apps, which I just did. This is the start menu. And while we're at the start menu, let's talk about a few things. So earlier we had the categories. You have something inside accessories, something inside sound and video, and some other things inside utilities. But the new thing right now in Zorin OS 17 is we have a button for all apps. So this is kind of like Windows 7, and you get to see everything that you have installed. And another thing which I really like is it fades to white at both the ends. That's very aesthetically pleasing. On the right, you have your username, a few shortcuts, which is typical, and you also have shortcuts to the software center, settings, and Zorin appearance. Below, you have logout, shutdown, restart. I guess this is for locking, not shutdown, sorry. And this is for powering off your laptop. And there is another thing, which is this search. So we're gonna keep that for a little bit later because it's a major feature in Zorin OS 17. We can change the desktop look with Zorin appearance. So if we launch Zorin appearance, you can see we have different styles. This is the old GNOME 3 style. This is pure GNOME 40 style. This is kind of like Windows XP. And if you upgrade to Zorin OS Pro, you're gonna have a lot more styles. Again, I apologize. This is a virtual machine and speed's not gonna be the best. You're also not gonna be able to see most of the animations, and we're not gonna connect any online accounts. This is obvious. And another thing is linking your phone and computer with Zorin Connect. So if you're somebody who has used GNOME Connect, this is going to be very familiar to you. Not only can you share files, you can also use your phone as a remote control, and you can sync notifications, you can reply to messages on the desktop, and you can do much more. This is a fantastic piece of software that syncs your phone and computer at the same time. You also have software. We're going to go through that as well. And that's it for the welcome tour. So let's dive into what Zorin OS 17 has to offer. I have a Firefox page open here. It says a sneak peek at Zorin OS 17. And honestly, I was surprised. Zorin OS 16 was released 2 years ago, and 17 has a lot to offer. So the first thing is universal search. This is what I said I'm going to leave for later because universal search has a lot of advancements. Not only can you search for your files, your folders, and as you can see, the beauty of searching with music is it knows that this app Rhythmbox has something to do with music. So it provides you with the app, with folders. I guess folders and files would come under the same directory, some under the same category, and you also have some characters. And if you go down, you have some more suggested software, which is pretty cool. Another thing which you can do is apparently you can perform complex mathematical operations. If you do 77 times 90, you get 630. And you can also copy the results to your clipboard, which is very useful if you're trying to do some calculations and you just want to bring the value back to your other app or whatever. Anyway, moving on. We have multitasking, which has been made a lot better in Zorin OS 17. Part of the reason why is because this Zorin OS version is based on GNOME, which came, like, I haven't been in touch with Linux for a really long time, but this came after GNOME 40, right? So it has a lot of features which are very similar. So if I do, for example, press this button, because I can't really work with the trackpad, you can see we have multiple workspaces. And the beautiful thing is it shows the app as separate from the actual workspace, which looks kind of clean, I guess. And if we open another app, let's say Files, and if we just drag them like this, and let's open this again, they look pretty good. This is very aesthetic, I would say. Everything about this OS is aesthetic. This is like one of the biggest points about using Zorin OS, other than being a perfectly fine Linux operating system. So what you can also do is you can tap the super key to open up the app grid. Now I have changed this to open the start menu, so double tapping really doesn't do anything, but if you want to change it, you have to go to, you can go to interface and the left super key. If we change it to activities overview, if we press the super key once, we're going to get the workspace view, and if we press it twice, we're going to get the app list. This is a very bare bones app list, which again, nothing to complain about because you can already download most of the things from the internet, and having a very small app list makes your operating system that much faster to install. So this is really good. We're going to go ahead and change it back because you don't really need to have that space if you have a Zorin OS menu. So it's kind of redundant, I guess, but then again, it's a customization option. If you want it, you can get it. Moving on, one of the things they have introduced is Spatial Desktop. So it introduces a very exciting new way to take multitasking to the next dimension. This is marketing speak, but it really looks cool. So you can drag, as you can see, you can drag the icons, the workspaces, I mean, and it is a 3D parallax effect, which looks really cool. Unfortunately, I'm not able to show this on my computer because this is a virtual machine and animations are disabled. There is another thing which is called the Spatial Window Switcher. It replaces the standard Alt Tab or Super Tab dialog box with a 3D window switcher. It looks really good. Like, I remember back in the days of Windows 7, I used to have Windows plus Tab, and that would show a live preview, something like this. So this reminds me of Windows 7, and Windows 7 to me, it's one of my favorite operating systems ever, even after Windows 11 has dropped. So I have a high amount of nostalgia for something like this. So this is really cool to me. And by the way, you have to enable these two options. So you go to Zorin Appearance, and I guess you would go to Effects. And these are not enabled by default. I'm not sure why, maybe because I am running in a VM, but you gotta have to have these enabled if you really want to take advantage of these. You can also enable jelly mode, or you can disable or enable animations as and when you like. Zorin OS is a very fast operating system. I mean, they are working on it for 2 years. They're using GNOME, which is very refined. So this is a very good piece of software. Now, before I move on to the Software Center, I have to show you a few things. We already checked the layout. The theme is you can change colors. So let's just go ahead and pick orange, for example. Let's give that a second. And we can also turn it to dark mode. You can see it's not only dark, but it also has a very fine, very subtle like shade of orange, which looks really good. I mean, only black looks really drab in my opinion. Having this and having the accent colors like this, it makes it really pretty to look at. Now we've already seen the effects, the interface as well. And another thing is advanced window tiling, which, so normally what you would do is you would take a window, you would go like this, and it would snap to one side. You pick another window, let's say Files, and it snaps over to the left. I like how they have used shadows. It's not that visible in dark mode, but in light mode, you would get to see the shadows much better. Here you can see we can distinguish between which window is the active one and which is not. So if you enable advanced tiling options in interface, what it will do is, apart from doing side snapping like 2 by 2, you can go and drag it to the corner so that it I'm not really able to, yeah, so that it snaps into one corner and you have 4 windows open at the same time. Now, if you have a 1080p resolution like I have, it's not that big of a deal because in a small place, I am using a 15.6-inch laptop, so this is really not that helpful for me. But if you have a 1440p or 4K monitor, something like 27 to 32 inches, this is going to be the premiumness for your productivity. Anyway, moving on from this, we also have a software center. Let's quickly go over it. If you have any experience with GNOME software after GNOME 40, you're going to know what this is, and it's basically the same. It's very beautiful, as you can see from the screenshot. Here it is open. You have different categories. If we try to go into one of these, I'm pretty sure it's not going to work. It's just going to be empty, so let's not waste time. And you have different tabs for Explorer, Installed, and Updates. And that's it for software. Like it's a pretty clean software. You have inside each app, you have screenshots, you have ratings, you have permissions, and a lot of these things are really cool. So we already talked about window tiling, and you have different options for key bindings. And another thing is the quick settings menu. I really love this menu. This is it. So on the left, you have the new screenshot utility, which came with GNOME 40. So, and oh, by the way, I love the accent colors. Selection, you can have anything selected as the name suggests. You can capture the entire screen if you want to, or if you're in window mode, you can select a window and it'll capture that. You can also transition over to screenshot or a screencast mode, or a screen record mode, but this is not going to replace OBS anytime soon, and it's not meant to be. If you're familiar with working from home, using Teams and WebEx, sharing your screen, all that kind of stuff, you would know that this is not the best experience. It's kind of like around 15 to 20 FPS, definitely not 30, forget about 60, but this is enough if you want to share some information in a pinch. But for streaming, for everything else, stick to OBS, because that's what the software is for, right? Moving on, we have volume settings, we have the button to open settings, for locking, for powering off the computer. You have internet, so this shows as wired because I'm in a VM, and it has two power profiles. One is balanced, one is power save, and I believe the other one would be inside settings. I don't think I can get it because it thinks I am running on a computer with no battery. I don't have the battery attached to the laptop right now, but if you see the screenshots, you have a third one, which is performance, or I guess the third one is, yeah, the third one is performance, right? I already had balanced and power saver, and this would, I guess, if your laptop is capable of taking advantage of this option, it would be there, and you would get a better time playing games or doing something intensive like rendering a video. We already talked about the screenshot tool, and then there is a new weather app, which in my opinion is pretty cool. I like weather apps in, like everything, like from Android to iOS to literally everything. And it's really cool how they've done it. It looks way better in this mode, in light mode rather than dark mode, and I'm really a big fan of the weather app. If there is a background noise coming, I'm really sorry about that. There's just some things you can't control when you're in India. And coming soon, you have 2 new desktop layouts. Chrome OS, I haven't really used it, so I don't know. And one like GNOME 2. It looks cool, I guess. The icons at the center, start menu with the list, and the right-hand corner remains the same. GNOME 2, again, those of you who are familiar with it would know about it. But again, these are not available in the free version. You have to buy Zorin OS 17 Pro to get these. They gotta make money too, right? And nothing's for free, and you can't. You're already getting Zorin OS Core 7, Zorin OS 17 Core for free. That is a lot. You have so many more things inside Zorin OS. You have parental controls and slimmer status pop-ups. So if I do FN and if I try to increase or decrease the sound, I really like that. Better hardware support, which is obvious. They're running a very new kernel, so let's check what kernel it is. You could do that by typing uname A. So this is 6.2. I'm not sure if it's the latest, but I guess the latest would be 6.6 LTS. But 6.2 will get you fine. You're gonna get like everyday work done. If you want a game, it's better to jump over to the latest kernel. But 6.2 is not that bad because you're gonna have support for Intel Arc and AMD just fine. But if you are an AMD gamer or Intel gamer, it is recommended that you update your kernel to the latest one. And if anything goes wrong, you could just roll it back to whatever it was. Please follow online guides and don't do anything rash. They also changed their logo. This, I guess it looks like 2010 sci-fi film. This is kind of cool. I dig it. And you also have support till 2027, which is okay, standard. And they have a link for downloading the Zorin OS 17, which I will provide in my description. And that's it. That's basically it. So with that, we come to the end of this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. This is my Pop! OS screen. I shouldn't have minimized it. There you go. And thank you. Thanks for watching. This meant a lot to me. I'm not sure if this is going to go on YouTube because I keep having troubles with a black screen. I hope this does, and I'm really sorry about this portion. I know it's not clean, but I really don't have another option. So thank you for sticking with me, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.